This Texan was a son of a mail carrier. In World War II, he served as a flight instructor. During the war, he would send letters to his fiancée back in America, and he would send them letters in big old giant boots, and he would drop them in the middle of her farm. After the war, he came back and started his very successful racing career. In 1956, he was named Racer of the Year. Carroll Shelby, a legendary racer, brought the American street road racer to American lives for American people to drive on roads. Shelby loved to race, but due to bad health, he had to go to the auto industry. He started out on his own, but then Henry Ford II recruited him and asked him to start the lead against Ford, beating Ferrari with his GT40. In 1956, Ford asked Shelby to start the hot rod edition for the Mustang, which means he put his own engine, his own transmission in the Shelby and the Mustangs and named it on his name. Shelby started off in 1962. In 1962, he started the Cobra, which was his racing car that he made. During Shelby's career, he built a lot of cars. And a lot of those cars, most people can't touch them because either they're so expensive or you can't find them. Because a lot of them aren't real or they're not out there. People won't sell them. An even rarer car is the GT500 KR. KR stands for King of the Road. There was a Bear Jackson car show, and they sell cars and they just have shows and stuff. And they all sold over $200,000. Shelby had made a car called the Cobra. The Cobra was the first car that Shelby ever made. And the car is like a death machine because it is so fast and so light that if you don't know how to control it, you will roll it and die. Because it's not a regular car, it doesn't have a roof, it's all open like a convertible, you can't close it or anything, it's just a little roadster. 1966, Ford handed over Shelby's right to the GT40. Then Shelby came out with the GT500. The Shelby was its best car out there. It was so fast and it was so good looking, other competitors had their hands full trying to keep up with it. Next was the GT350. The 350 wasn't as fast, but it was still quick and it was still good looking, that people wanted it. Now today, there's a lot more 350s than there are 500s. Here are some cars. Here are his cars. Here's the Roadster Cobra. This was, back in the day, the racing one. And this is nowadays. People can buy them in kits, so they can make them their own. They just come with the body, and they don't come with the engine or the exhaust or the transmission. You all have to buy that stuff and assemble it yourself. Here's a GT40. Here's the GT40 that helped beat the act to be Ferrari. And this is the car nowadays that people drive. They stopped making them back in the 2000s. Here is the GT500. We actually have this car. This is ours. And this is the one with matching numbers. Matching numbers means that it is original from back in the day. It's the same. Nobody's touched it. The only thing's different is the paint. The guy repainted it, put the metal flake back into it so it shines more. Here's the 350. This one's just at a car show. Here's the Viper. After Shelby helped Ford beat the Ferraris, he left and went to Dodge and signed a partnership with them. He helped them create the Viper and the Chrysler. Here is the ours certificate. Back in the day, this Shelby was originally $5,000, and now it's over so much. any questions?
Why did you decide to write on Carroll Shelby?
I've always found him interesting because of his cars, because his cars are so cool and they're so old. And he actually just passed away a month ago, so it's kind of cool to write about it anymore.
One more. Do you own more than just the GT500?
Yes, we have a Yanko Camaro and a GSX Buick.
So how did you end up with the car I talked about that was in section?
The 500. There was a guy in town that has a friend that was friends with the guy in Twin that he was really old, and his wife has this brain problem that they need the money. And so they decided to sell it. And we got it a lot cheaper than they sell it for at Bear Jackson, so it was a pretty good deal.